Hi all. In this video, I'm going to be talking more specifically about dead bugs. We have a simpler external view demonstration on our YouTube channel, but now we're going to dive into a little more specifically how we teach them in the beginning, and then later on in the video, why we teach them, how we teach them, and how important they are. One of the things that we do with virtually all new members here at the gym is teach how to engage, how to brace through our midsection. One of the best ways to do that, in our opinion, is a dead bug. One of the reasons for that, when we're in a dead bug position, when we are lying down on the ground, our back is flat, we are very stable here. We're not worried about balance. There's no external things going on. We can be completely flat. We're not worried about falling. Now we can teach middle out, core out. So for a dead bug, this is our basic starting position. Flat on our back, head to hips on the floor, knees over hips, hands up over shoulders. First step that we'll teach, how to squeeze your middle. You'll take a big, deep breath in. When you breathe out, you are trying to squeeze your belly button in tight, trying to crush your lower back, push your lower back hard into the floor. You don't want to see any space down here. If you're soft, if you're rounded, there's going to be this pocket. When you breathe out, you're going to fill that space. I'm able to talk. I'm softening a little bit to instruct right now. If you're doing this correctly, you're bracing everything you've got. Talking, speaking will be incredibly difficult. And if you're truly trying to focus on creating as much internal tension as possible, probably shouldn't be talking, laughing, chatting much at all doing this movement. So circling back around, big breath in, breathe out. When you do this, your arms stay right where they are, legs stay right where they are, and your knees stay bent up at 90 degrees. I'm going to relax for a second. After you've learned, after you've felt how your middle is supposed to feel, we're going to branch out. We're going to get our upper half, upper body, upper part of our trunk involved as well. There's two main ways we're going to do that. We're going to set back up. For the sake of demonstration right now, I'm going to leave this a little bit softer so I can talk and focus on my upper back. Two things you can do. One, you can make a fist, squeeze very, very tightly, turn your hands a little bit out, pull your shoulders together. Now you should see and feel arm, shoulder, this lat muscle are all squeezed nice and tight, similarly to how your midsection is also going to be. The other way you can do that, you're going to splay your fingers as hard and as far apart as possible. You can probably already see my arms shaking a little bit and my voice. Turn your hands slightly out, pull your shoulders together, and then you would relax. So putting all of the pieces together, these first two pieces, dead bug starting position, knees over hips, knees bent at 90, arms straight up. Going to breathe in and out, tense this, tensing all of our upper half so that as much of us from our head to our hips is squeezed and flat on the floor. Boom. If done properly, effectively, fully, maximally, this full brace is an incredibly hard, incredibly challenging full body engagement. There's not much room for wiggling, for any other unwanted movement. Once we have that base, that foundation, that knowledge of what bracing is, head to hips, we can start adding in upper body, or arm and leg movement. How this looks, and we'll go into why in a second. Set back up. I'm going to remain a little bit softer here, just again so I can speak clearly. We would have braced. We're going to brace. Play around with sending an arm overhead. Keep it straight. Try to get it as close to the ground as you can. And nothing else moves. Bring it back. Play around with the other arm now. Bring it back. So we're starting with just one limb at a time. To start incorporating in our lower body, keeping your knees bent, send the heel towards the floor. Bring it back. Try the other heel. While we're doing this, while we are braced and our back is on the floor, shoulders are on the floor, we're not allowing our midsection to soften and this space to creep back in here. The most important thing while we're moving arms and legs around is, can we control our spine? Can we keep our back safe, strong, neutral, braced? If you are controlled with an arm and a heel, perhaps play around with straightening a leg all the way out. The longer lever is going to be more challenging than this still bent shorter one. While you're doing this, you're keeping your middle tight, you're keeping your low back on the ground, your upper half right where it should be. Nothing is moving except what you are wanting and trying to move. Over time, if and when one limb at a time has become fairly, not casual, but understood, controllable, play around with two. Brace. And breathe. All of these movements, all of the arms and legs movements, they're not fast, they're not slow, they are smooth, they're hard, they're controlled. Fewer and harder will serve us much better than more numerous but softer, squirmier, less control of our midsection. Transferring out of the dead bug, one of the reasons we start here is that once you start moving around more in space, once you're moving your body around, once you're lifting other weights, you need to be able to control your core, keep your trunk neutral, keep your spine safe and strong. If you don't, more and more of the loads are shifted towards structures. You're going to be softer, rounding through your bones, through your joints, instead of using muscles as you're meant to move. It's going to keep you stronger. It's going to keep you safer. How this looks standing up. Even just talking about a bodyweight squat. Set up. You're going to brace your front. Doesn't matter. Maybe you make fists. Maybe you clasp hands. There's various ways to do it. Brace. Middle. Upper. Front. When I'm moving up and down, everything from my head to my hips is staying neutral. It's staying stacked. There's no softness, no rounding. No squiggling around, squirming around side to side. It's not doing that. I'm not doing that because I can't do that if I'm effectively squeezing everything straight. Switching gears a little bit. That was a squat. Let's talk a hinge, a very basic hip hinge. From the top, simulating an RDL here. Plant your feet, brace, brace. The hips lead the dance. Right now, head to hips, hip to head. Stacked, braced, neutral. I'm not rounding over. I don't have my head up here. Everything is where it should be. So I can be working the muscles, the movements that I'm most trying to work on. Starting with dead bugs. On the ground, on the floor, wherever you are, brace. Learn how it should feel. Learn how hard it should be. Start with one leg at a time, one arm at a time. Branch out into two, branch out into alternating. And then we're going to stand up and start talking movements. If we can own our middle, our limbs can do whatever they want. They can do what they're told. If our middle is soft, uncontrolled, forgotten, ignored, there's no way that the arms and legs that we're trying to use to lift things or to move ourselves around are going to do what they're told. So in a little more of a deep dive than just an external view, those are dead bugs, how we teach them, and why we start there. If you have any more questions, of course, feel free to send them along or stop into the gym sometime. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Everybody take care.